Be me. 21. Girlfriend at the time and I decide to go camping one weekend during August. Didn't have my license, but had an old ATV. Live on island of Newfoundland. There is a rail that stretches from my hometown on one side of the island, all the way to the capital of my province. Very popular trail networks, some lesser known as well, a lot of them lead pretty deep into nothing. Trails that go for miles into the dense forests and barren boglands that Newfoundland is known for. A whole lot of the island is uninhabited. Like, a lot. This area is also known for the Table Mountains, which in reality, are a part of the Appalachian mountain range that extends all the way from southeastern coast of America, up to the northwestern tip of my province. Just a little fun fact for anyone interested. We spend the morning deciding where to go and what to pack. Decide to try a campground that's about an hour ride from my town. This particular campground is in an area known as Codroy. Get ATV packed and ready to go. Just a tent and some basic stuff, food, and snacks. This is more about just getting out of the house for a night and enjoying some quiet rather than hardcore in a woods camping. Plus got to pack light because only ATV. Of course I pack my trusty K-bar knockoff knife. Hit the trails just after dinner, riding the main rail until we can hit the road to go into the campground. Get to campground, stop at the gate and start chatting to the ranger/park supervisor. Sorry, we don't allow off-road vehicles into the grounds. Oh okay. Sit around a few minutes, smoke a cigarette, girlfriend smokes a joint. Try to figure out where to go next. I want my peaceful night outside, damn it. Figure we go on one of the random trails nearby, go a few clicks out into the forest and find a half-decent spot to set up camp. Hop onto the machine and off we go. Get to a spot where a trail branches off into the woods. Trail goes in and then under the Table Mountain, and follows the bottom edge for some time. Getting pretty deep into it, find a nice little clearing and figure this is the spot. Place is nice, just enough room for the tent and a campfire, no signs of anyone being here for a long time. Trees are pretty stunted in the area, but still high enough to block any wind and give a sense of secludedness. Perfect. Get everything offloaded, tent pitched, grab some rocks and make a fire pit, then light the fire. Approaching dinner time, grab some food from the bag and start grilling over the open fire. In absolute bliss. Kill the afternoon and rest of the evening just shooting the shit, girlfriend is smoking a bit. Dark is approaching, but I don't mind. Lots of noise from animals. Birds, squirrels, chipmunks, bugs. The forest is alive. Fire is at that point where the coals are well in place and it's radiating tons of heat in the cool summer evening. Sit back and enjoy ourselves for an hour or so before starting to get pretty sleepy. Girlfriend is pretty much toast out for the night. I poke at the fire to knock it down a little bit rather than completely extinguish it. The here is nice. We both crawl into the tent and into our sleeping bags. Pass the fuck out because it's like 1 a.m. Wake up to girlfriend poking me in the ribs. I think there's someone walking around in the woods. Tell her that I don't hear anything, just the usual night critters. Must be a small animal, coyote, or something or other. Smoke so much weed just hearing shit more than likely. This calms her down a bit, and we both go back to sleeping. Wake up to girlfriend poking me in the ribs again, this time more forcefully. There is definitely someone walking around near us, it's definitely not an animal. Okay, sit up straight in my bag and really listen. Can hear twigs cracking, then what sounded like someone whispering. Can't make out what they are saying, but there is definitely something out there. Freaked out a bit now. Pull out my stupid knife that would be useless in any encounter with an animal that really wants to hurt us. Tell her we can pack up and go home, although it's like 3:30 a.m. and pitch black. Didn't pack a flashlight because I'm a goddamn retard. Unzip the tent as quietly as possible and have a quick look around, No signs of anyone visually, no lights, nothing. Can't hear anything now. Sneak over to the ATV and flick the ignition switch, 2 pulls on the cord and it fired right up, headlights pointed towards the tent. Get GF out to help pack up the gear and get moving. She crawls out of tent, peering over her shoulder the entire time we are packing up. Tent is the last item to be packed, folding it over and trying to stuff it in the bag as fast as I can. Girlfriend is on the back seat of the quad, staring into the forest, mouth agape. Not making a sounded. Alright, fuck this and fuck the tent. Hear the most terrifying noise I have ever heard in my entire life. What sounded like a giant just folding trees over while screaming at the top of its lungs. Like the most absolute primal scream I have ever heard, mixed with the sound of twisting and screeching metal. Shit, a literal fucking brick. Hop on the ATV and slam it into gear, turn around and hit the trail. A trail that took us nearly 45 minutes to ride down earlier took us 10 minutes. Honestly, a miracle we didn't crash. Stop at the nearest small town to catch a breath and calm down a bit, get our thoughts together. Heart is racing a mile a minute. After what felt like an eternity, ask her what she saw. Won't answer me. Just mumbles some shit. Ask her again. Gets angry, tells me she don't want to tell me and I don't want to know. Stow it until morning. Ride home, get to the house. Leave everything on the quad. Get in the house. Stay up all night. She never did tell me what it was she seen. Never seen someone in so much fear that they couldn't even move. Still get shivers and goosebumps when I tell people the story. Kinda want to go back with better weaponry and camp the night again, but with a better group. Has been like 13 years now though. Stuff related to natives can be wild. I don't have any stories since the natives in Newfoundland have been all wiped out since the mid-1800s, but I'm sure some of the older folks here have some stories to pass down. I think it'd be fun to ask some of them if they have any tales to tell. Newfoundland is a naturally paranormal place regardless, uncountable shipwrecks, native burial grounds, old abandoned fishing villages. It has a little bit of everything. Sadly, the slow modernization of our province is erasing a lot of the history, and taking away a lot of mysteriousness surrounding it. But there's still a few little places tucked away, untouched by man for over a century. I lived in rural North Georgia. Out in the woods around my parents' house we used to hear what sounded like a raspy-voiced old man singing on occasion. Never found him, no one ever saw him. And it was not in any language anyone in my family knew. Just every few weeks there would be some old man singing. The only neighbor we had close by was across the street, anyone else was more than a mile away in either direction. But the neighbor would sometimes hear him too. There was no pattern to it that anyone could tell, sometimes hear him singing at night, sometimes in the day. I just recall one time in the summer we were swimming in the pool in the backyard, and we all heard him singing again after dark and very close. Closest to the house we have ever heard it. It just lasted for a few minutes then quiet again. Always thought that was weird, wasn't scary. We did try talking to the guy, yelling out into the woods, or going looking for him. Never found him. I don't know if you could call this in a woods, rural definitely. It's my only paranormal story I can't particularly explain. Live in a small town in an otherwise very rural part of the country. Not much work to go around. Get job at a lumber yard slightly out of town. The main route there is actually rather packed because it's a route people use to take to the state's capital. Do some digging. Find a back road that goes straight to the lumber yard, barely anyone uses it. Driving out to work, take the path, pass through dense woods, but there's one house in a clearing just by the side of the road. Perfectly ordinary house, looks a little unkempt but there's lights on. 2 deer are standing in the yard grazing. They look up at me as I drive by. Henny. Hours later get off my shift. Take the back road again. The deer are still there, exact same position I last saw them. What the fuck? First thing that flashes in my mind is that they're stuffed. Weird, but not the weirdest thing I've seen bumpkins do. Next day. Driving back. There's more deer, about 3 more. The new ones are all stood at the very back of the property, near the edge of the trees. They look like they were in the middle of taking a step when they just froze in place. Honestly kind of freaks me out, speed up a little but I get to work regardless. Ask people about it, people think I'm bullshitting. Decide fuck it, I'll get a picture on my way back. I pull over on the side of the road away from the house. There's more fucking deer. And a horse now too. The yard is slowly being absolutely filled with them. They're all perfectly statuesque. Grab a small rock off the road and chuck it at one of the deer closest. I shit you not, the rock fucking freezes mid-air. Go to grab phone from my car. The lights in the house flick on, I see the door open with someone fucking standing there in the light. Nope. Scramble back in and fucking gun it out of there. Never take that route again even if it means I show up late. Don't have a saw 14 evil Bigfoot wizards and met a ghost story, but I do have one which I think about a lot. Be me, 14, live in northern rural British Columbia, 600 trillion lakes in mountains, long weekend in May. Going camping with family, wahoo. First lake we try is packed full. Oh well, try different lakes. Absolutely crowded everywhere. Finally find only lake not full, 0 other campers. Everyone kinda creeped out, me and my mom especially. Oh well, time to explore. Go to Little Creek, running into lake to scout sick fishing spots. Crossing ground in little dead patch right on creek. Cool. Don't care, go other direction into woods with dog. Hit little clearing with a tree and stop dead in tracks, overwhelmed by a feeling I can't even really describe. Like dread and fear fucking so hard in my skull I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Back to camp, fuck that. Mom, dad, and brother wander off later. Mom comes back looking for me. Anon, come here, tell me if you feel this. Takes me back to exact spot, tells me how she feels like something is wrong and is freaking out that no one else could feel it. Possibly genetic schizophrenia, but I don't know, man. It's been like 7 years and I still quite literally constantly think about it. I want to go back, but I'm worried what I might find if I dig up that area. Sounds stupid and uninteresting, but me and her both wandered to the same spot and felt the same feeling that I've never felt anywhere else in my life, in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. Not the first weird thing we've both experienced, but was the only one in the woods throughout life.
Gucci gang. Heard you guys like eating Tide Pods. I should be here to tell you that's wrong. Not that I blame you all anyways. I'm such a snack, wouldn't you say?
Like, share, subscribe, and be sure to check the notification bell. Follow the Atomic Shaman on Twitter at Motel and RV Park. Listen to Paranormal Green Text Stories on Atomic Shaman TTS on YouTube. Catch the live streams of Atomic Shaman Sweat Lodge only on Rumble.